Good evening, keepers of the cash. Gary B, the Casual Comic Guy here, and as you can tell from the jumbled up intro, it is rookie hour here on In the Hot Seat with the usual suspects. I was having a good time talking with my co-host and my guest, and I was just hitting all sorts of wrong buttons because it's what I did. And but thank everyone for coming out tonight, and we're gonna have a fun show. It's gonna be a good show, and we have a great guest. And if you guys didn't catch her on the 1011, where she showed a bunch of incredible books, and we got to know a little bit about her, please check out the 1011. It was a fantastic episode, getting lots of play, and just a pleasure to have her back within the same week. But first, let's introduce my co-host, Jim Digger Jim. There we go. How you doing tonight, Jim?
Good. Glad to be on. I got a lot of different questions. I don't know Lady Fantastic that well, so this is a good opportunity to ask some questions.
Right, and you get to just interrupt me whenever you feel the need, Jim. And yes, Zach Collections. The 1011 was a really good one. Caroline killed it. And our guest of honor going in the seat of honor, we have Caroline. Lady Fantastic herself. Yeah. How you doing tonight, Caroline?
I'm doing well. Not gonna lie, for about 20 minutes right before I jumped on here, I was going through my collection because I was I want to get a stack of stuff just to let you dudes know what I'm about. It's a small smattering of my collection, but just certain things that I love, or I really have a lot of weird tastes, but I'm sure you guys do too, right?
Yeah, eclectic tastes are the best tastes.
That's right.
That's what I keep telling myself. So.
It's true with me. I like some stuff that's so weird. You get it out of the 50-cent bin. No one else will look at it, and I'll go home and read it 70 times and love it every time.
Telling you, man.
Let's say a quick hello to the audience here. We got Gene Mallow. How you doing tonight? Gene. Unruly Simeon. Happy to have you, sir. Chop and Drop. Good evening, buddy. Glad to see you in the audience. We have Trev, the shipping guru. Trev, good to see you, sir. We have Zach's Collections. How are you this evening? We have Ignacio. Hello. How you doing, Ignacio? And we have Mike from Night Tiger Comics. Happy to see you, Mike. Thank you for showing up. Thank you, Ignacio, Trev, Callie, and Jordan Squad. Thank you guys for tuning in. I can't play videos tonight, and I can't talk, so I got nothing going for me. My mouth is a jumbled mess. Luckily, I got two other talented people here with me. We got Comic Man Musings. Bill, how you doing tonight, sir? And already upstaged by Caroline. She hasn't even talked yet, Bill, so there you go. Gotta pick on Bill a little bit. Bill likes to give it out. Ooh. All right, so...
Ditko, baby. Sorry, I'm
right. Just you are fine. So let's get into it a little bit here, Caroline.
Let's do it.
Psychedelic Comics, how you doing? First, tell us what your intro to comics was, and what started out your love of the medium.
Okay, so back in the year Twinklety 2, I was a pretty curious, precocious kid, just I needed to know all the things, so whatever. So I liked, reading and stuff, and I would go to my grandmother's a lot, and in the neighborhood that she lived in, 2 houses down, there was a family that had yard sales just all the time.
Right.
And they happened to have a teenage son that, he would actually sell his old comics there, and he would sell them for a quarter or 50 cents a piece. And so my grandma would give me $2, $2 or $3. And as a little kid, I would say all of the age of maybe 8, 9, I would go down to that house and, pick out, 6 to 10 comics or whatever, just they were always Avengers from the late 70s, early 80s. So
nice.
Good stuff. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
absolutely.
That's how I first got into it. And I was amazed, these people are doing missions in space. I remember specifically the Guardians of the Galaxy.
Sure.
Yeah. And I'm just like, this is a big deal. This is amazing. And so I had those, and you would roll them up and put them in the back pocket, and just like the more worn they were, it was like a sign of pride and a sign of like, it wasn't about keeping them pristine. It was more like, man,
I gotta read this again.
Read that a bunch. They know that. They know all the shit. And so, I really loved those, but then along came the X-Men animated series in 92, 93. And when I started watching it, oh my God, my life changed. And so I started getting X-Men, and back then, so when you're talking 92, 93, if you go to the 50-cent bins around then, when I was a kid, you got the good old early 80s X-Men were the 50-cent bin fodder,
Right.
So you could get some, but I started reading, so I was able to get some older ones, like, so X-Men, in the, I would say 170s through 190s or something. And I really loved it, but then you could buy it off the rack too. And so I was buying, I think it was probably issue 274 is the first time I remember buying like that X-Men comic. I can just remember it so vividly. And then I also began reading the new X-Men, the Jim Lee one, but it started sucking after like, I don't know, issue 30-ish. It was awful, but whatever. And I really got into Wolverine, obviously. And so I remember the very first Wolverine comic I ever bought off the rack in a store was Wolverine 79, the Claremont run, but I don't know if he was writing by that time. But it was where Cyber had crushed his bones because, like, he had his, he'd gotten his adamantium ripped out or whatever,
right?
And Cyber broke his claws. It was just, and he was sitting on the cover, like Wolverine was in his, like, on his knees and like holding his hand, and it was like bleeding. Anyways, that's a long story, but yeah, I was about 8.
Well, they left the covers. They left an iconic lasting image on you. I mean, you can still picture that Wolverine cover, and
I can draw it, yeah, and I can tell you my memory's slightly photographic, anyways. But yeah, I mean, everything about it, I yes.
Now you mentioned something that I have down as a question, and that's cartoons. We all grew up with cartoons as an influence. So obviously the X-Men animated adventures. What else was influencing a young Caroline back then? Were you watching Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends reruns? Were you watching the 90s Spider-Man,
right?
Sins of the Father and all that going on? And
so I'm gonna keep it 100 with you. I was very X-Men animated series. I'm not gonna, as a young person, I was very focused on X-Men. Like that, there was nobody that I cared about really. Everybody else was lame. X-Men was the
singular focus.
Yes. Right. And so, and that, I mean, I look back at my old ways and I see how wrong I was. But I was very, very into the X-Men. And so it was X-Men comics, X-Men animated series, collect the X-Men figurines, X-Men comic cards, the 1994 X-Men. Oh my God. I mean, I have it right up here, So I was very heavy into the X-Men. I guess if there's anything other than that, it would have been, I first started on Avengers. Right. So I knew who they were. They're my official indoctrination. But X-Men was what, like, just
right around the corner there.
Right. Straight into the bloodline.
Oh, my God.
So for Avengers versus X-Men, we all know who you were siding with.
Oh yes, yeah. I'm sorry, Avengers, but like, no. Definitely.
Well,
Go.
yeah, one of the most iconic and recognizable cartoon songs ever.
Yeah.
Without a
Yes.
doubt.
How did you feel when the first X-Men movie hit? Was your mind blown that it was on screen? And were you
Yes.
upset with Hugh Jackman as Wolverine at first?
Yes. So I was in high school. Would it come out in 2000?
Yeah. No.
98?
99.
99?
Because where I live now, I actually saw the movie here, and I didn't live here. I was up here doing a training, so it had to have been like 99, 98, somewhere in there. Might be 98.
Yeah, I think you're right. But I was in high school, and like me and all my nerd buddies, we went, and like our drama teacher, Mr. Smith, like he was really cool, and we became like buddies with him and his wife Amy or whatever. But Mr. Smith with us because he was a huge comic nerd, and so we all went, and I just remembered being so excited and like finally it's going to be a real like life. Was it everything I would want? No, but it was a start, and I sure as shit didn't complain about it. I was grateful,
Right. I thought it was excellent myself. I mean, for what we had back then, come on.
Well, and the fight scene in the cage with Wolverine in the beginning was great.
Oh yeah.
And when he takes the claws out and takes care of that shotgun.
Right.
Yes. I mean, it's all, and like Patrick Stewart was born to be Xavier.
He was.
They had to make a movie, if not just for the fact to put that man in that role. Like, good God.
Well, I remember Halle Berry coming on screen too and just being blown away that I'm seeing Storm,
Dude,
right?
I'm sorry, but like in my mind, before that movie had come out, I had cast people in my head, like who was going to be. And already Patrick Stewart was Xavier. You know who my Magneto was? Freaking Richard Gere with all white hair, like a buffed up Richard Gere with all white hair.
See that? That's not bad. That's not bad.
You know who my Storm was?
Angela
fucking Bassett. Oh, she was supposed to be
Storm.
She's not supposed to be T'Challa's mom. She's supposed to be Storm 20 years ago. But whatever.
And she was ripped probably back then, still from doing.
I said that's how Stella got her groove back days, dude.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, and she did
that sci-fi movie she made, which was so good. I can't remember the name of it right now.
Yeah. No, that's a really good casting.
Yeah,
Angela Bassett is great.
She's good at everything. I know she's a badass.
I think that's what I didn't like was that they made Rogue so young.
It was weird. But now like Anna Paquin, for what it was, I think she did well. But she's also a pretty talented actress.
Yeah.
I don't know who I would have cast as Rogue. Hell, I always thought this doesn't make sense, but like if you could just take anybody, I would have taken Bonnie Raitt from the early 80s, bro.
To be Rogue?
She had she had the natural Rogue hair.
Yeah. But I would have taken Bonnie Raitt from the early 80s.
But then she'd have been too old though, I think.
Yeah. So
even then, I mean, because she was, there was rock people, they age quickly. I mean,
she's a badass.
But she is a badass. I mean, I just was talking about the fact that you had Storm and you had Wolverine, and all of them looked older, and then Bobby and Rogue were the students, sort of, And I thought to myself, that's not right. Not really.
I really liked Famke Janssen because I was a big fan of hers already, especially from the horror movie she was in.
Oh no, I would have said Bond, but no, I didn't know she was in a horror movie. I don't.
Clive Barker one. It was really good. Of course, I'm going to forget the name of it now. But Lord of Illusions.
What was her name? Like Natalia Onatop or something like that. Something weird like that. Because he's like, I hope you stay on top of things.
Right.
In 007, like because she was something like that. Whatever.
And Rebecca Romain surprised me as Mystique.
She was great.
Yeah, she had an imposing presence, and she felt threatening.
I mean, and dude, her body was perfect. You're just like, what cojones it takes to go and act in nothing but blue paint and a couple of pasties? Because
right.
Yeah. Yeah, you got to be confident in how you carry yourself to do that.
Yeah, I thought James Marsden was a good Cyclops because he does have a very douchey affect.
Right. No, he was good casting as well.
They nailed that with the douchiness. I loved Kelsey Grammer. This was in the later ones, but I loved Kelsey Grammer as Beast.
Yeah, Xenia on a top.
Xenia on a top. That's what it was. I hope you stay.
I had to look it up. I couldn't remember.
Yes, that's what it was. And then like the good chick was like Natalia Semyonova or something like that.
Yeah.
And then there was a guy named Boris, and that was Alan Cumming. And also Alan Cumming played Night Crawler. Sorry.
And that was, again, you're talking about an iconic opening to a movie was X-Men 2.
Yeah.
Nightcrawler makes a scene, and the Banff is just great.
And he's a great actor.
He was. And you felt like in the comics, in that second movie, you felt sorrow for him.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, Alan Cumming is a for real like stage actor.
Shakespearean actor, yeah.
Yeah, sure. I mean, he's good stuff.
He probably got a call from Professor X and said, "Hey, yo, we need you on this next one. We're going to need you to come over here."
It's so funny. And then they get old Gandalf to come on. So McKellen, Stewart, like, those. Yeah, X2 was great. I love Phoenix, and so my heart's been broken a bunch because the Phoenix's movies have just not,
been up there.
Been the best, but that's okay. I honestly didn't mind the Apocalypse one. Now, my favorite one was X-Men First Class, I thought. Or, no, wait, X-Men Days of Future Past. So X-Men First Class was good. But then Days of Future Past, I think, was just... That was the peak of that X-Men group, in my opinion.
Right. And, of course, you had the brilliant Wolverine cameo would fuck off.
Yeah.
Yes. And so
now what did you think when they actually allowed them to make a rated R Wolverine movie and you got to see him just let loose? Because that movie Logan, when he was just killing fools left and right,
so that one I hadn't seen until like recently, and it's the one that actually got the most like critical acclaim, didn't it?
Yes.
I really liked it. And, honestly, you could have come into that and never seen X-Men or known what the heck they were, period. And that would have been a good movie, in my opinion.
Right. It was great. But the only crime to me about that movie is we never got to see Laura Kinney standalone from Daphne King, because she was so good in that movie. Like, if you're ever going to be scared of a little girl, you'd be scared of her.
Yeah, right? Like, I mean, just her facial expressions. Oh my God, she was just... And
with the foot claw, I was like, nope.
Yeah,
that's true, man. But and and just to be honest, like in Days of Future Past, it's one of the best storylines in X-Men. So it's like can't be a bad script, It's already a good story.
Let's kind of get into that. What is the first comic book storyline that wowed you? Where you would just set the book down and you're like, oh my gosh, can't believe I just read that.
It was it was when they had like Cable and then Strife, and where there was that whole Executioner song, but at the same time, that whole weird interplay. Executioner song was wild to me because it was like Apocalypse had a young version of of Cable or something. He was like raising him. So like different. I just remember there being a book at the end of that whole Executioner song called Strife's Strike File. And it had information of all of the different players in it. And just seeing that. But, it's hard for me to recall, but I just remember loving getting every single issue of the Executioner song, regardless. It was crossed over like 3 different titles, but you would get the bag because they all came in the bag and they all had a card. And I remember being like really being interested about the story because the story involved time travel and I want to say so one Cable had the legacy virus and the other didn't. And I also remember like the legacy virus, that was what represented AIDS. I had mentioned something about like the phalanx, but that's not what it just appeared around the same time. But
I'd like to see Warlock too. He would be cool just because he's such an odd creature.
Warlock? Oh yeah. You know, one of the saddest issues I think was when Warlock was trying to like bring his friend back or whatever in New Mutants. Didn't understand death.
Right.
Or was it when Warlock died? I just know there was yeah. Anyways, but it was an old one, like an old New Mutants. I'm pretty sure where it's either somebody dies. I can't remember, but Warlock. It's either Warlock himself or somebody else. I don't know.
No, while we're picking your brain about the X-Men, because you're such a big fan, they're coming to Marvel. We already got the multiversal peak of Professor Xavier and what happened with him. But what villain besides Magneto would you like to see the X-Men fight in a Marvel movie?
I tried to bring Doug Ramsey back. Thank you. And that's what was so sad when Warlock was trying to bring his friend back. And I think Louise Simonson wrote those early ones.
Yeah.
Good. So okay, what did you ask again?
Oh, what X-Men villain do you want to see in the big screen that we haven't yet seen?
I am again. There's two villains that I like. I like Apocalypse, and I like Mr. Sinister. And the reasons why are okay. Straight up, one, Apocalypse is like Charles Darwin on steroids. Only the fit shall survive. You know, I'm not going to intervene. I'm just going to watch you tear each other apart. You know, while I conveniently have this, you know, technology from the future that Kang left, and I'm fine. But yeah, and then Mr. Sinister. So I'll tell you the thing with Mr. Sinister. There is a mini series. I don't know if you guys have heard of The Adventures of Cyclops and Phoenix.
I have, but I've never read it.
Okay,
yeah, so I have it too. I've never read it.
It's not the best, not the worst. It just is. Okay. I read it because I love Cyclops and Phoenix. I mean, I really hate Cyclops, but I love Phoenix. And that one shows Rachel Summers in the future as like a sage or something. But then the further adventures of Cyclops and Phoenix, there's one called The Further Adventures. It is a mini that covers Nathaniel Essex's past. So Mr. Sinister. And it's so good. It was so good. It's set in the mid 1800s in Britain, and he is a scientist that is a contemporary of Darwin's. Okay. And he is actually shown, and they're shown at this scientific forum in England in the 1800s, kind of going back and forth. But then, like, Nathaniel Essex goes home to his wife. Okay, there you go. That's
right.
Yes. But the further adventures of Cyclops and Phoenix talks about how Mr. Sinister, his beginning, and how Apocalypse first met him. And it was in the 1850s. So what happened was Nathaniel Essex, he had a wife and he had a son, and life was perfect. Well, for whatever reason, his son had died, and I'm not sure if it was I would like to see Omega Red. Yeah. He died from something, whatever. And so what happened to Nathaniel Essex is that he became obsessed with testing on animals and trying to figure out how to bring things back to life or whatever. and
a little beyond her, like.
Yeah, and his wife was like, dude, I don't recognize you anymore. You're like, what is this about? Because she was getting freaked out that she's like wanting to bring back son's corpse. And then, anyways, Apocalypse wakes up around the same time. Yeah, Sinister's not a goofball. He's like for real, for real. But like, okay. Apocalypse wakes, and he actually meets up with Nathaniel Essex, and I'm thinking maybe Apocalypse needs his help to revive or whatever. But anyways, Apocalypse is like, right, well, are you interested in living forever? And Nathaniel Essex, after fucking losing his son, is just like, yes. And that's when he makes him Mr. Sinister, and he gives him the unnaturally long life and the power that he has now. But that was imbued to him by Apocalypse in the 18th.
And a great character design too.
Oh man, it was so good. Read it. The Further Adventures of Cyclops and Phoenix was such a nice, nuanced origin of Mr. Sinister. And I don't know if anybody knows that, but you do now.
Right.
And also, The Rise of Apocalypse is really good. The Rise of Apocalypse is about Apocalypse as a young child and how his powers first manifest and the journey that he takes to become the person that he is and how he's shaped into the person that he is. Yeah.
Now, you said on the 1011 that the character that you identify a lot with was Kitty Pryde. Mm-hmm. So why is that? What attracts you to Kitty Pryde, and why do you identify with her?
I think she's straightforward and kind of says what's on her mind, but not in a hurtful way. She's a little awkward, and she's really eager to be one of the team and really eager to try and help and be like her best. And even though she messes up a lot, and I really like how Wolverine takes the older brother kind of thing. I read the Wolverine Kitty Pryde where they go over to Japan or something.
Yeah, that's really good. That's really good. That's a character that has definitely grown as you don't, when you see her in the X-Men in the beginning in like 130 or 131 or something, I mean, she's just a kid. We've literally seen her grow into an adult woman, and she's kind of a badass now.
Well, she's a bad bitch now. She's like a great leader. You know what I mean?
Like, she's not the Kitty Pryde that was Sprite and all this other stuff. I mean, you've literally seen her grow as a character. So I can identify with that.
Yeah. I love her powers. I would love to have her powers. I love Lockheed. I love Kitty Pryde is she just is like a good person. I just like Kitty Pryde, and I wish I could be like a Kitty Pryde. I guess but I really like her a lot. And then to me, Jean Grey is like, man, she's just a badass. But she wasn't like that until Claremont came along.
Right, she was kind of wimpy,
kind of a throwaway character.
Well, and
she was Marvel Girl until then, right?
Right, and that to me, you talk about Cable and Executioner's Song and so forth. The starting point for me, or the best story for me, was the beginning of the Phoenix saga. All the way through to Dark Phoenix, and that whole thing just was the one for me. And then even in the
Hellfire Club, freaking Sebastian Shaw, freaking Emma Frost. I said Emma White when I showed my thing last, and it's Emma Frost, but we all screw up.
But that's what I mean.
The White Queen,
or the White Queen, right? And for me, that will always be that storyline that Gary talks about. What is it? The one that gripped you? That one gripped me, and I was like, wow.
So
these might be my favorite forever now.
That is one of the best. But I'm just saying, like, what gripped me as a kid was what I had access to.
Sure.
What I had access to were just the things that were coming out.
No, that's what I'm telling you. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, I can relate, because for me, that was the one that drew me into the X-Men. Just like you, Avengers were the beginning for me. But when I read that X-Men Birth of the Phoenix and that whole saga, I was like, wow, this might be my favorite.
Once I got to about like 12, 13, 14, I found Claremont. And
yep.
That's when I started getting the for real canon. So anyways, but yeah, that's the good stuff. That's where you see the characters. That's where, I mean, you've got who comes? Nightcrawler, Storm, Wolverine, Kitty Pryde. This whole onlog of amazing characters.
He brought that basically brought that book back from.
I think they could do a good street level X-Men movie too if they brought in the Morlocks.
Well, if they're going to do a street level, then they might as well put Dazzler in there. And that's why you want it, isn't it?
I always want a Dazzler film. I told you I want Disney Plus to make a Dazzler series in the 70s.
That's why you want those street level Morlocks.
Unapologetic Dazzler fan.
Hey, but you know what was really great so Storm and then Morlocks was cool, like when Storm and Callisto fight.
Right.
That was pretty rad. And oh god, one of the things that scared me the most when I got into is when Storm got turned into the Brood. One of the grossest covers is when she's like morphing into a brood cockroach.
Right.
So I have 2 of that cover.
Yeah, well, that's double gross. But that is also one of my favorites, because you said you are a Carol person, and I
am. I was gonna ask you about Binary soon.
Yes, Queen. Sorry, I was just all right. So Carol.
Another. I never saw that. Another one of my all-time. Oh, and I love the Terry Dodson one behind it.
Oh yeah, I love the Dodsons.
I have that cover too. That's a hard cover to find.
The Dodson.
The ones with the zooms.
Yeah. So I'm just letting you know, you're not the only Danvers appreciator in town. I got 1 or 2. But and
I love that they brought the character Binary back in this new series.
Yes. So when she went,
what a smart way to do it! Like, how ingenious is Kelly Thompson?
It's good.
If people aren't reading it, they're missing out, because the Binary character now, it's still partly who Carol was, but it's it's just amazing. I don't want to spoil it, but the way they bring Binary back is incredible. But I have that issue too, which I got to send out and get graded at some point in the, the first appearance of Binary. But I'm hoping we see her in the films too.
Extreme X-Men. What do I think of Claremont's return for Gambit and Extreme X-Men? Southern, I don't think I read Extreme X-Men. I know, Southern, you are a big Remy LeBeau fan. Who would y'all have cast? I would have done Harry Connick Jr. as Gambit. Do your Dream World cast. Who are you casting?
I mean, he would have, at the time of when it came out, he would have been a good pick. Who did they end up using? Taylor, what's his name? I don't know. Hitchers, I don't know. Anyway,
Taylor Kitsch?
I think he seemed a little bit, I don't know. He just didn't seem like the right choice for it.
So, I have the X-Men 164 I have. Is Mark Jewelers.
Ooh.
Yeah, I know. But y'all, that's when you guys X164 is where she goes Binary. So it's like, okay, she gets powers from the Kree, but then the Brood diddle with her even more, and she just goes
right.
She goes Binary.
Now, who I think would make a good Gambit we just saw him in The Boys, the supernatural guy that played the Captain America-like character.
Oh, Jensen Ackles?
Yes.
Jensen Ackles? Is that his name?
I think he would make a great Remy LeBeau.
I'm not sure exactly who you're referencing.
He's the one from balls. I can't think of their. They were on. He's on TV. Him and his brother
They were in Supernatural.
Supernatural, yeah.
They're the guy from one of the brothers.
One of the brothers from Supernatural.
And he was just in The Boys.
See, the problem is I don't think he can carry that Louisiana accent like Harry Connick Jr. is like born into it. I mean, the accent is part of what makes Remy. He's like, hey, Cher, you got to do it my way, that type of thing. And
you can cast foreign. You don't have to cast someone like Jason Eccles. You know what I mean?
All right, Gerard Depardieu. No.
Yeah,
right.
Fuck you. He's a god.
He's a little old now, Gerard Depardieu.
A little old.
I love his movies though; they're so good.
But that's who I would have cast, for sure. All right.
Excellent.
Now, what did you think of the new Mutants movie?
I didn't see it. I haven't watched it. I need to see it.
I liked it, and a lot of people banged on it. I thought it was decent.
Yeah, I enjoyed
it. I need to give it a chance.
Yeah,
I watched I watched that new Phoenix one. It was pretty bad. With the Sophie Turner.
Yeah, I watched that the other night, and I was like, this could have been better. Something was missing, and I don't know what it was, but it just... I don't think I like the effects of it, to be honest with you.
It wasn't like terrible, but it's just not what I wanted.
Well, the thing is, if you're gonna do a Phoenix saga, you got to give it a 3-movie arc. You can't just fit it all in one film.
No, honestly, the best Phoenix
you can't rush that story.
The best Phoenix saga I've seen done on the screen is the cartoon, because they stay the truest to the storyline.
Right.
I mean, I did want to show you this since you said you're a big Conan fan.
Yes.
The earliest. I love Barry Windsor Smith. His Machine Man and his Weapon X little run in Marvel Presents, just some of the best stuff.
I just read those not long ago. I took them out because I'm rereading the whole Conan the Barbarian series again.
But this is like the first full Elric so I guess his second appearance.
Number 14 is 15 is the second appearance.
So this is his second appearance.
Correct.
But
Elric of Meldebone.
You can see all these guys.
I think it's either Meldebone or Meldebone.
Yeah,
somebody's getting boned. I get it. I understand.
Right. It's a good story, and there's a funny thing with that, Caroline. If you hold that back up, Barry Windsor Smith drew the character wrong. He doesn't have a dunce-like cap, but it was too late to correct it because it had already went to print. So they apologized to Michael Moorcock, but he gave them their approval, even though that the art on it was messed up and didn't depict the character the way he was written in the Michael Moorcock books.
Oh, this was a good one. I found this in the 50-cent bin. It's an X-Men 92 signed by Bowers and Sims.
Ooh.
So do you see that?
Mm-hmm.
Chad Bowers. And then that just says Chris for Chris Sims. That's in pen.
And look at that storm here. That's perfect.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Boom. This is a good one, you guys. Pepe Larraz does the art for this, and he's great in it.
Now, who would you cast as Jubilee in a new film? I know we've had her cast.
I like the old way they the girl that they cast is good.
Just make the movie with her.
Yeah,
she's probably a little old for it now.
Well, I know, but like if we can just play, I don't know, because I don't know any young girls that age now.
In that last X-Men movie, they gave us a tease of Dazzler, but that was it.
I would have said I'd take Martha Plimpton and dye her hair black. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not sure who I would cast as Jubilee. I thought the person they did in the other, who would you?
Right.
Who would you cast as Jubilee?
Oh, Jubilee.
I like maybe Juliette Lewis with short black hair. Like
but she's too old now.
Well, I know, but
she just said she didn't know any like young 15,
I don't know anybody
16-year-old girls that would be. Yeah, I mean, I don't watch those shows, so I have no idea who.
My knowledge of actresses in that range is nothing.
Yeah.
Well, I think actually you could go with the Stranger Things girl, Natalie Dyer.
Sure.
She would be good. Dye her hair black.
Yeah, sure. Go with that. The Millie Bobby Brown or
no, not her. The other one, the Nancy
one.
Character.
The Nancy character.
All right, so I did want to show this. So this, you guys, this is the first appearance of Squirrel Girl. If you guys don't know, Steve Ditko is the creator of Squirrel Girl. So don't hate, appreciate, congratulate. And then I want to show you guys something really funny. The first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I have these later prints of the Squirrel Girl 1 through 5. So,
ooh,
nuts, kicks, butts.
Caroline, I've never seen those.
I've never seen them either.
Welcome, that's amazing,
to the most badass you'll ever see.
Oh, that's
funny. So I know I love like little goofy, campy things like this. I can't get enough of it.
And I love that she was the babysitter for the Avengers.
Doreen Green. I love her. Let's see. I'm going to show you guys. All right, here we go. I'm just going to grab a little stack of randos. So I'm a huge Gilda Radner fan, which you saw. So obviously this has to be in my collection.
I have that one. It's a nice one.
It's my favorite, I think.
Yeah.
I love getting comics that have contemporary characters in them. So like Avengers 239 that's got like Dave Letterman on it.
Right.
Or they actually did a Avengers West Coast 4 variant that has Jimmy Kimmel on it. So, but I love stuff like that. Well, I have some sorry, go ahead.
Oh no. What I like about books like this too is you don't get books like this in collected editions because the IP with the Saturday Night Live people, they can't reprint those, so you don't get them in a reprint.
That's true. Good point.
You either have it as a floppy or you don't.
Yeah. This is one of my favorite battles. I told you I had a big Hulk collection, but of that, this is just one of the.
What a cover!
Yeah. That's one of my favorite Hulk books right there.
It is so good, y'all. If you don't know, you know now. Hulk 250. He battles a Silver Surfer. It's just one of the best issues. You need to read it yesterday. Get it.
Now, I'll interrupt you for 1 second. We talked about Bill Sienkiewicz the other day.
Issue 74. Keep on collecting. This is issue 74 from Marvel Team Up. And the year is 78. So, okay, go ahead.
So we talked about Bill Sienkiewicz and how he's such a great artist and can do many different styles. But one of the worst covers he ever did, and I can't remember the issue right now, and I have it twice, is the Incredible Hulk issue that Rom was on the cover. And he just drew Rom so awkward, and it just...
I don't think I have that one.
You have the Hulk, so you have the Hulk here, and you have Rom's ass in your face with Rom bent over going at the Hulk. Just a completely weird-looking cover, and you could tell that was a Bill Sienkiewicz off day.
Sounds hot.
Yeah.
What do you know the very first cover he did for Marvel was?
I don't.
I don't either.
Well, let me tell you. It's Black Panther 14.
Ooh.
Yeah. So, you guys, the very first cover Bill Sienkiewicz ever does with Marvel is Black Panther 14. You wouldn't be able to tell that was him.
Right.
And he also, some of the earlier work that he did was in some of the Fantastic Fours between issues 200 and 232. Some of the issues interspersed in there, Bill S. did covers for. So
plus his Dazzler covers.
Oh yeah, I mean, I have all of his Dazzler covers, but I love his stuff. Oh wait, hold on.
I'm gonna make myself big, Caroline, and show you the cover I'm talking about.
No, gosh, that's horrible.
Oh, you know what? I think I do have that one. What's in the 300 something? What is it? 290?
It is $296.
$296. Yeah, I think I do have that.
That's terrible.
You
Yeah,
want to see a better looking butt? It's a better looking Bill S. butt.
right. Oh,
So-
his
Yeah.
electric covers are great.
Yeah.
I like that one.
What
And
a
then he-
remark too.
Yeah, he did the remark with the bad guy. So
What I like about him too is he just seems like such a nice guy and like really down to earth, you know.
but he kind of reminds me, he kind of looks a little crazy, and he kind of reminds me of what's that guy's name from Rorschach? He kind of looks like he could be Rorschach.
Yeah.
He reminds me of Rorschach. I saw this. Night Tiger told me that this was supposedly supposed to be about Peter Parker as a kid. I was like, I don't know, man. That it must have been
Ooh.
retro, but
Right.
this
Peter
Peter,
the
the
Little
little pest. I don't know.
I don't see Peter. Is that red hair too?
Yeah, I know. But
I think Night Tiger had low sugar that night.
Night Tiger,
No.
did you have too much pickle whiskey? He's got that pickle whiskey. It's probably
Yeah.
all this
Pickled
one's
up.
great. I found this in a 50-cent bin, and it just makes me laugh so hard every time I see it.
Oh, Mother Teresa.
Oh, I've seen that, but I never picked it up.
Yeah. They have a Pope one too, right? They have a
do.
Pope
yeah.
one. I've seen
Oh,
the
yeah.
Pope
They have a
one.
Pope John Paul one.
Yeah.
It's just so awful and campy, but like for 50 cents, I'm gonna get it like every time. This one is actually you may or may not know. I'm gonna show you this, and I want to see if you know the significance of it.
John Carter. Almost.
So, what was the question, Caroline?
Yeah, I didn't.
You know the significance of this issue.
I don't. I have no.
No, I
idea.
don't.
Okay, this is the very first art that Frank Miller does with Marvel,
Oh,
and
very
this
nice.
on this title is where Chris Claremont and Frank Miller meet up, and they get together after meeting on this and do the Wolverine mini. So
Right.
So
This is
history was made.
Yeah. So this is the first time Frank Miller is on Marvel, y'all.
All right. My favorite Frank Miller cover is ROM 1.
I did not know that. Do you got okay? So here's Larry Lieber. If you guys, I don't know if you all know,
Yeah,
but Larry,
Stan's brother.
yeah, Larry Lieber is Stan Lee's brother, and he did covers. And this is like I think only the
Fantastic.
third cover appearance of Fin Fang Foom.
That's sick.
Now, Rob and I often say there's more going on a Silver and Bronze Age cover.
Oh yeah.
You could spend more time looking at them and the details than it takes to read a modern book.
Right. Absolutely. I agree.
So, yeah, just good stuff. I like these Astonishing Tales. I'm a big fan of them. Yeah. Also, I like the Invaders.
That's I have some Invaders books. Those are good. Do you have the one with the Superwoman up front there with the whip and everything?
Oh yeah, I know exactly which one you're talking about.
You know what I mean? And the the Nazi symbol in the back there.
And
Yep.
I'm a Monica fan, so here's one. This is during the Darkhold.
Yeah.
And the Invaders also had the first appearance of Spitfire, who was on that cover
Yes,
too, which was a great character.
Spitfire. She's right there. So yeah, and
Who ends up dating Blade later.
Ew, that's weird. No, wait, that's in. Is that in?
That's in the one. Yeah, she ends up dating Blade because
Wait, there's a
she had a one shot too.
Captain Britain in the MI6 or something. Have you seen that? I have that, and she's in there.
Hey, Brian.
She and Blade are in the MI13, not MI6. Sorry, I'm like grabbing a little chunk.
Oh, you're fine.
All right. This is another thing when you talk about contemporaries. Do you know that whole story about the Amy Grant cover? So,
Yes.
Yeah. You guys, I love stuff like this, but this is a Doctor Strange cover. In the background, without her consent, they used Amy Grant's image, and that was a no-no. So they had to pull that.
You think she would have been flatter because that's such a
I know.
fantastic cover.
And this is a good run. Like, come on.
Yeah, but
she's a Christian
singer, and she might have thought this is the Doctor Strange is the devil's work.
Yeah, I mean, it does say the vampire verses on the top, so
right,
kind of clashes with her brand.
Yeah.
Marvel sagas. I love the cosmic stuff. I'll always love the cosmic stuff. Galactus is my boy. Bob Layton, interestingly enough, does that. So
I love Bob Layton's art. I think he drew Iron Man the best. Out of everybody that's ever drawn Iron Man, he's my guy.
Layton's the one. Yeah.
Plus, you had other great artists back then that didn't get their praises, like Mike Vosberg, Pat Broderick.
This is Art Adams.
That's pretty good too.
But this is the final issue of Marvel Saga. It's Marvel
Great
Saga
wraparound.
Huh? Yeah, it is. Oh yeah, man. Good stuff. I love Galactus, bro.
And the thing is you could see the personality on Galactus's face.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like looking at like Kirby drawings where the characters have real emotions drawn on their faces.
Right.
Yeah, man. But this is the Stan Lee and Mobius Silver Surfer, the little 2-issue run, and this is the stuff that I love. Here's the John Byrne Silver Surfer. Love it, man.
1982.
Yep. Here's another Bob Layton. This is a Bob Layton Galactus.
Yep, got that one too.
Yeah.
I'm a big Bob Layton fan. That's why I try to get all his covers.
I like Layton, man. And I have a few, quite a few Iron Mans too over here in another box. And I love Nebula. I like Nebula. So you do Dazzler. I like Nebula, man.
I have her first appearance.
I do too. So Avengers 257.
Yeah, I just got it back. I got it in a 9.4.
Mine is not a 9.4. But this is a fun where the wild things are homage of the Incredible Hulk. I love things like this. Just, wild stuff. Oh man, I was telling you, I'm a big Defenders fan. And this is one of the coolest little 3 stories. This is Avengers issue 116. It's Avengers versus Defender to the death.
It's always got to be to the death.
Yeah, always to the death.
High stakes, baby. High stakes. 117.
Old Shellhead and my favorite armor of his.
No floating heads, man. It's got to have the floating heads.
And then 118. To the death, baby. So
good.
Such a great little story there. So if you guys can read this, is the Avengers Defenders crossover 116 through 118. Just excellent stuff. Also, you know what? You want to do a little spec? This is spec, baby. Defenders 84. This is where we've got Subby and Black Panther fighting again. Then we got a little dash of Hulk. This is a good book. This is a good book. Get it. Be there. Be square.
Right. And a dynamic cover with the action going. Just
right.
Nice.
Yep.
Bursting from the pages into your room. The Defenders. And then this is one of the goofiest things, but like told you, contemporaries. I love contemporaries and I love weird shit. This is a Count Duckula with Geraldo Rivera.
Geraldo, I was gonna say.
Cry me a Rivera.
See, I'm like with Roger too, because Roger Metarog and I both love
Metarog.
We both love promo books. Yeah. Like I have like on Thin Ice, or Smoke Screen. I buy them every time I see them.
I have those.
I can't leave them there.
I can't either. I have a huge stack of promos, and like I have like Spider-Man fighting illiteracy. Dude, I just found the OG like child abuse one.
Ooh.
Plus, they just got the power pack in the sexual abuse one. They just got that one in at my comic shop. And you know what I just got for $1, Caroline?
What?
Last month, the 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 1 and 2 mini comics from Pizza Hut of the X-Men.
Oh yeah.
In the thrift shop. They had them in a bag, $1. I'm like,
$1.
woo!
This is a cool one. This is Thor 700. But this is the it's an homage of the death of Captain Marvel.
Yep. The graphic novel.
Yeah. And so this is a second print. So this was originally lenticular where you could do,
Oh, okay.
but this is the Stephanie Hans homage to it. And I'm a really big Stephanie Hans fan. So
Yes, and I believe she did that when it was the Women of Marvel, that one shot Firestar story. I think she put the cover to that. And it was a beautiful cover.
She does. I don't think she does anything bad. I'm not sure if I've seen a Stephanie Hans book that's been ugly yet. We were talking about this yesterday. I still haven't gotten a chance to read it yet, but I'm excited to dig in.
I haven't yet either.
Yeah,
no, I didn't get that cover. I got the Scotty Young one. I haven't read it yet, but I got the Scotty Young one. I just couldn't pull the trigger on that cover. I said,
but why are all Marvel dinosaurs red?
Yeah, I don't know.
Devil Dinosaur.
Right,
that is a great question. But I have Devil Dinosaur as well. So
yeah,
I'm a big fan. You guys, that's also a thing. People think that. You've got to spend hundreds of dollars to get an old school like Jack Kirby book. But now, there are some books that he did like Black Panther, Devil Dinosaur, a lot of the DC
very affordable
stuff. Yeah, right. That's very, very affordable that you can get great Jack Kirby stuff and it not break the bank. So I'm just saying.
I got a Mr. Miracle #2.
First Granny Goodness?
I think I only paid like $20.
That's First Granny Goodness. Damn.
But it's on Whatnot. Somebody on Whatnot was trying to get rid of their stuff and nobody was buying it.
So he makes fun, as in Jack Kirby in Miracle Man, in Mr. Miracle. He makes fun of Jack Kirby making this character called Funky Flash Man.
Yeah.
And it's Stan Lee. It's really funny. But,
now, Jim, you know what I got on Whatnot for a bargain?
What?
Conan the Barbarian #3, the Grim Gray God. That's like $100 book all day long, and like under mid grade. I got it for $20. I'm like, now I got 2 copies.
Aren't like the first 20, 24, 25 issues of Conan Barry Windsor Smith?
No, it's a mix of Barry Windsor Smith and Gil Kane because Barry kept taking issues off, and Barry quit once, came back 3 issues later, and then quit again on 24.
Okay.
But Gil Kane, a lot of people don't know, Gil Kane did like 40 Conan covers, plus he did some interiors.
I like the one Conan, what is it, like issue 37, that's Neil Adams.
Yep. That's a good story too.
Interior and exterior.
You know who did a lot of work on Conan that people don't know as well? Was Mark Silvestri.
Really?
He did like an 8-issue run in King Conan, 8 to 10 issue run on King Conan. Plus he did some regular Conan issues. And looking at his art then, he was a young Silvestri, way before Image. This was in the 70s, right? So
wow.
This was like 75 to 80. Mark Silvestri did a bunch of Conan.
I didn't think he was that old.
I'm going to show y'all a little something that I did. This was a little project that I had.
Only an hour, Eddie. He's asking if he's late.
I'm not a huge DC person. One thing I do
love, but I don't hate it.
That's what I was going to ask next. Was do you cross over to DC any?
A pinch.
Okay.
A pinch. A pinch. I have more indie than I have DC.
Sure, and that's collect what you like. That's what we always say.
I'm gonna make mine Marvel. But to be fair, let's be very fair. When I came into the comic realm, it was in the early 90s. And, I'm a girl that's 8 or 9. What is DC doing then? Gritty Nightfall street kind of bust them up stuff. Like, I just don't care. It's not something that appealed to me as a kid. I did not give 2 craps about Batman. But now X-Men, and having powers and not being understood and being an outcast, that was all, but genes and mutations, that was my jam, dude. I was all up in that. Right. So, but DC Bronze Age horror is just a delight to look at and to read. And that's how I got into folks like Bernie Wrightson and Nick Cardy and Jim Aparo and some of the Neil Adams, some of these titans of DC, really just. And so this is a little thing I did. I'm going to show you guys. It's a little stretch of House of Secrets I have. Wow. So this is House of Secrets 122. See my little color coordinated
just good covers.
I know.
So are those pricey, Carolyn? I don't collect any of those.
$20 a pop.
Not terrible.
The guys are from Nashville, and he sent me some just really great guys. I met them at a convention and bought one there, and then got another 3 off of them. And this is just
wow.
House of Secrets 123, baby.
Right, the original Ice Cream Man.
Right, that's what I was going to say.
Ice Cream Man.
That looks like
you don't know Ice Cream Man.
In Caroline too, I love that trade dress.
Yeah, it's just beautiful. So yeah, 123. So I just showed you 122 and 123. Oh, what's coming up next, baby? 124.
Run, Billy, run!
See those hands?
I know.
Right, and the shadows tell all.
Yeah. So I just and then the last one, 125.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That one is amazing.
Yeah, baby. So that was my little project that I did. I was like, I want a little run of some really nice House of Secrets, and I'm gonna color coordinate them and be fancy smancy. And
are those Gator guards? What are those?
Yeah, they're Gator guards. And so I picked
I've been looking to get some of those.
They're great. I really like them. So the people that at Gator Guards, they're nice to work with. Okay. Amicable. The price is reasonable. $20 a pop.
That's not bad.
I'm sorry, dude. Fuck getting slabs.
Well, and here's the thing. I mean, I have slabs in the back here, but I've never been a huge slab guy, and this is my alternative.
I have slabs too, but I just don't do them. I don't send my shit to get slabbed.
Right.
And those present great.
Yeah, it's just, to me, it's not something that matters. It's a facet of collecting.
Sure.
But it's a facet of collecting that I never embraced.
Sure.
It's just not. It's not why I do it.
And that's everybody does it for different reasons and
everything. I like it,
just,
but anything I send away to get slabbed, I have a reader copy.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Because if I can't read it, I can't send it away. I can't encase something and never crack it open and read it again.
Yeah.
Because I'm a reader first.
Yeah, I'd say the concept of slabbing was never part of my plan as a collector. Never with cards. And I knew about getting your cards slabbed before I knew about comics.
Sure.
Because I collected comic cards in the early, how big they were in the early 90s.
Right.
Yeah.
So I have a massive comic card collection too.
I think my brother has a huge, big book of them, big binder, a couple binders of them. So yeah.
Those House of Secrets, man, those early House of Secrets, you just can't beat.
Just the artwork alone.
Yeah. And the stuff that Neil Adams has done with House of Mystery and The Witching Hour and House of Secrets. Goodness, man, they're awesome.
I like them on both sides because I like Tower of Terror, Chamber of Chills. I liked all that stuff, But the DC had the better cover art and the creepier covers.
Cover art, yeah.
DC was creepier, right?
I think
as far as monsters, Dracula Dracula's cool. He's all right.
Right.
And so I really like the Dracula versus Silver Surfer. I can't remember what issue that is. If it's issue like 50 of Dracula. Let me see.
Say it's a higher up. It's definitely a higher up number.
Dracula 50.
You must know Dope Comics, right?
Yeah, I know Dope, man.
He's a huge horror fan.
Yeah.
I don't think that guy's crazy huge in horror.
Him and Comic Mag Musings, too. All his pre-code horror magazines are incredible.
Like, oh my gosh.
Dope. I see Dope at the LCS quite often.
Oh, do you? See, he's in your area?
Yeah.
See, this one, well, I have the first Conan prototype one, too, from Marvel, but this is a Robert E. Howard story with just a fantastic Gil Kane cover.
Wow.
I like that one you showed. Is that a horror book? That one with like, what was it, Gary? You showed one time Skull Island or something on it, or God, I can't think of
that. Caroline and I were just talking about that. Was the Tales to Astonish.
I'll be right back. Hold on.
Yeah, I couldn't remember which one that was.
One with Namor on it, and he's coming out of the water.
296, the Tales to Astonish.
Caroline and I were literally just talking about that book the other day.
Well, you showed it on somewhere before, and I thought, man, that is a sick cover.
I showed it on Slab Hub.
Yeah.
The show formerly known as Slab Hub.
Slab Hub, yeah. Only slabs now. Only slabs.
All right. Sorry, my comics are at the other side of my room.
And guys, Eddie from the Batcave is going to be coming on both of the shows soon too. So
okay,
keep an eye out.
Okay, all right. Okay. So let's see. Got Tales of Suspense. I don't know why I showed that, but
because it's an awesome cover.
I just picked this up yesterday.
The facsimile of the first Hawkeye. Yep.
There it is. Yeah.
Because we were talking, because I'm a huge Kong fan. Not only was that cover incredible, but it also said Skull Island on it. So it was a must-have for me. And you know how I got that book, Jim?
How?
Well, you know how we all get mystery boxes here and there.
Yeah.
I got some Venom books in the mystery box, and instead of burning them, I traded them for my Tales to Astonish.
Instead of burning them.
Right.
There you go.
So, anyways.
Yeah, but, I equate Venom books to kindling.
I have a Kong #1 that's DC, Bernie Wrightson. It's signed by Bernie Wrightson.
Ooh,
that's why, I found it. You'll
have to send me a picture of that.
I will, because you can never find that stuff. I'll send you a picture later after I get off of here, but it's definitely his.
Because I have that Dan Stevens one you showed.
The Dave Stevens, yeah?
Yes.
But yeah, I'll send you the picture of the Bernie Wrightson one. And I have the Adventure Comics where it's the first Black Orchid and then her other two stories. So I think that's Adventure 428 or Action, whatever it is. It's DC Adventure. Let me type in 428. Adventure 428. Yeah, Adventure Comics 428. It's the first Black Orchid, and it is the most beautiful cover. But then I also have 429 and 430, and then going 431 through like 441 or 2 is like the Jim Aparo Spectre run. That's just badass.
All right.
Yeah. But the Spectre was violent. Like,
right. He didn't care. He was pretty brutal. Everything that I read, he was pretty brutal.
You got your just desserts.
I think we need to get Silver Knight Kyle on the 1011 to show some books too.
Yeah, Silver Knight's come on my channel before. He's got some good stuff, dude. He's got all kinds of stuff, man.
So now, is there anything specific that you're working on run-wise that you're like trying to complete?
Yeah, so still working on my X-Men. There are a few in the early 100s that I need to get. And then I'm very close, like just a few books away from completing my Avengers goal, because Avengers I wanted issues like 100 through, and then I have through like honestly like 260. But I'd like to get, and then before I'd like to go from honest like maybe like 92 through 260. But I want to get the Kree Skrull War, and so I have to go sub 100 to get Kree Skrull. Working on Hulk pretty actively. Trying to get a lot of the sub 200s for it, and I'd like to get that fleshed out.
Right.
So
I'm just curious. Everybody has their own specific books that they're. I did a Marvel team up run because I knew it was attainable, and I said I'm going to get every team up from even the annuals, the whole thing, and I'm going to get it. That's my year to go. I didn't want specific, grails or anything. I'm going to get that entire run.
I'm a run person. And I'm working on Fantastic Four. Like I have every Squirrel Girl, like 1 through 47. I have 1 through 50. That's the second volume, but then 1 through 8 is the first volume, and then there's her first appearance. But then I also have Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur 1 through 47. Like
sure.
There are a lot of different things. It's like I have to have the run. But I'm a definite run person. Especially like with chunks in certain chunks where you really like the storyline or the author, like John Byrne, Fantastic Four, like
such a good run.
Yeah.
And
stuff like that.
I heard a story about that. I heard I'm trying to think. It was Reggie Collects was down in Florida, and he was interviewing Claremont at a time during a signing down there, and he touched on the Claremont Byrne scenario. And according to Claremont, it was he would write the story, and Byrne was supposed to do the art, and Byrne would constantly come back at him on the story, and it just got to a point where it was too much friction, and supposedly John Byrne went into the editor and said, "Hey, me and this guy can't seem to get it together." And he said, "Well, funny you should say that, John. We really need help on Fantastic Four. We're gonna let you write it, and we're gonna let you draw it." And he's like, "Okay, fine." And
that was his baby,
and he was happy because you know what? He was in total control.
But it was so good too.
And you could tell he was happy writing it, and he was so invested in it. I would say the same for his Sensational She-Hulk. You could tell he just had a great time doing that.
And I'm a huge John Byrne fan. To me, his art.
He's still writing X-Men fan fiction.
Right. His art, Bob Layton's art, George Perez. They have clean lines. It's. You just don't see it today. You're not going to see
FF too. He understood what was important about that book is the family element and the way they got along, and he nailed it. And
he brought in
he created Johnny and the Thing,
right?
And he knew how to. It was. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Jim. It was just great.
He brought in characters when they needed to have he brought in She-Hulk.
Frankie Ray.
Eventually went on to be, Nova and stuff. And I love that storyline. That's one of those other ones that we talk about. We can go back and read and go, yeah, I remember when that came out. I really liked it. I mean, there's certain books you're always going to have that. For me, I can remember going, man, I can't wait to the next issue.
Yeah. And Nathaniel Richards and whatever, just like all that jazz.
And he gave Johnny Storm some gravitas, It wasn't just he wasn't just the one trick pony with a joke here or there. Like that whole Frankie Ray storyline, you saw a different Johnny, and
he really cared for her, right? So,
I also like collecting the what ifs, so I'm working on my what ifs volume 1 and 2.
Love the what ifs.
Oh, yeah. And I have the whole what if run where it's like the Young Avengers and the Runaways. Teamed up or something.
Sure.
That was a good one. You have a stack of amateur Byrne work?
Well, send it this way. I'll take it.
Yeah, get Kyle on here sometime though. He's got some like really good stuff.
Oh yeah, I'll get him on both shows. I'll get him on here and I'll get him on the 1011.
Oh, yeah, man. Just put him in the hot seat. But yeah, I mean, I want to downsize because there's a lot of stuff I know that like I can go to sleep and be fine without.
Right.
And there's stuff that I can't, that I have to stay, that's going to have to stay. And like the stuff that I named, the collections, the runs that I'm working on, they're going to have to stay. But, you know, there's a lot of modern stuff that I have that it's just like, I don't even know I have it. And I, you know, the more and more I collect, the less and less I buy modern. So it's more of just like a search through the back issue bins.
Right. I'm starting to get that way myself. I get on there and I'm starting to slim down and really decide what I want to keep reading. You know, it's like when No Good Comics goes on and says, you know, if there are 3 comics you could pick, what 3 would you get? I'm almost at that point where I'm like, you know, I'm really liking Moon Knight right now. I think the way the series, the new Moon Knight series is good. Only Chris, the comic vet, and I are the ones that like DC versus vampires, but I love it because it's campy. I love it. It's campy. I know what it is. It doesn't try to be anything else, and I'm fine with that.
And like you guys were saying, I keep getting all these modern books, but I read more. I keep going back and rereading my Bronze Age more than anything. Like I read a Bronze Age book every day.
Right. Yeah, I'm starting to feel like, you know what, I might slim my pull down to almost nothing, and I'd be okay with that.
And it's like, well, they had writing back then. I just feel like you get 14 sentences,
right,
and the book's done, and it's just like, how much collectively are we really we're getting clearly we're getting dumber as a people.
Because back then too, you would have to look up words. You'd learn all these new words.
Oh yes,
too.
Oh yeah.
Stan Lee was a very verbose, alliterative guy that just loved language, and you could tell that.
Bill Mantlo, Roy Thomas,
and to see that, like now, it's just like, you know, I see so many people just like, oh, Donny Cates is the greatest thing since sliced bread. I'm just like, are you fucking kidding me?
No, he never sticks to ending, and I mean, he comes up with some cool ideas here and there, but honestly, the only thing of his I've enjoyed is Thor.
I feel like he's a flake. Yeah. I enjoyed Cosmic Ghost Rider. That was a laugh. To me, that was a riot. And, you know, stick to your little 5-issue things. And then, but you know, it's not like I could do it. So I mean, it's hard for me. I can't shit on him too much, right? But at the same time, let's just say he's not my favorite.
He's not your favorite.
And sometimes I feel like certain people get more acclaim than, you know, while there's so many others out there that don't. Yeah.
Right. And you have these journeyman writers and artists out there that are just getting ignored. Right. That have been milestones and building blocks of the comics for generations.
Exactly. Foundations of the industry, and nobody's heard of them. So a lot of people, psychedelic comics, a lot of people say that, is that, you know, comic books are what bridged the gap from people having a tough time to, you know, getting caught up in class. And I've seen a lot of individuals that are like first generation Americans that said that reading comics helped them a whole lot.
Sure.
Like Roger.
With their
when
English.
Roger said it helped them.
Right. Well, I'm convinced that I'm convinced I had dyslexia. I still have dyslexia. It doesn't disappear.
No.
When I was little, they didn't know what to do with that.
Yeah.
But, you know, and the thing about it was, you know, to get me to read was a struggle. But once I got that first comic book and just sat there and read it, and literally would, like Gary said, I mean, you know, and I'm way old, but I would go and get a dictionary and be like, I need to know what that word means, you know, because you couldn't just look it up on the internet. And my mother went and I said, hey, where's the dictionary? And she almost fell out of the floor. She's just like, well, you want the dictionary? I'm like, yeah, I need to know what this word means. After that, she'd buy me as many comics as, you know, I wanted. And, and it didn't, you know, it was the perfect gateway to get you to read. And then I would pick up, mini stories that, or, books that they had to have a picture in it at some point. And then as you get older, you read books. But I mean, it's just, that was definitely a jumping point for me, was comics. So
yeah. And if you're like me and my friends, I mean, we were always drawing our favorite characters, trying to do comics. Like I had to make comics too, obviously they made no sense, but God, it was just so much fun.
And they were just the ultimate escape too I don't know I don't know if this is true of both of you, but when I'm reading, I'm so engrossed in what I'm doing. People can come up and talk to me. I won't even know they're there.
Right.
I'm that lost in reading.
You're in a different place.
You go deep into the story, and that's the way you want to be. That's what a story should do, is grip you and put you away from where you are.
Yeah.
Now,
go ahead, Jim.
I'm going to, real quick, I want to jump off this point for a second. I know I was going to ask you about this whole scientist thing. What kind of scientist are you?
So I work in biochemistry, and specifically at a local university in the Department of Biochemistry. In the lab that I work in, we study RNA binding proteins, but specifically in the context of immunity. So
So my wife, I live in Maryland, and my wife works at USAMRIID. Mm-hmm. She's a biostatistician for the Army.
Biostats, so dry.
Yeah, but I mean, like, here's the thing:
they're smart.
The math. She knows the math, but she also knows the science, and I think that's the hardest part. Is you can get a math person, but they don't understand the science, and so sometimes she'll I'll say, you should read this comic. It's kind of cool, and she goes, the science is all wrong here, and I'm like, yeah, but we know it's not right, and it doesn't have to be right. Like, remember when Outbreak came out, the movie Outbreak? Oh my God, she tore into it. We're watching it. She goes, that's not the way the place looks. Who has marble tiles? It's the government, for Christ's sake, And I'm like, it's a movie. Calm down. But on the other side, after being married for 700 years, I have. She did win a contest. She was at a bar with a bunch of different girls from her book club, and they did one of those trivia contests, and they won it because she knew who the Red Skull was. And nobody else knew who the Red Skull was. And she's like, I know this one.
She owed that to you, Jim.
She owes that to me.
That's
she didn't win anything but free, free whatever. But, but it's always interesting to see how different scientists look at them. You look at it for what it is. It's an escape.
Yeah, I mean, I grew up on a 150-acre cattle farm, beef cattle in Tennessee, Black Angus, and so I was very fascinated with the natural world. Mm-hmm. So coupling that with the fascination with like comics, and X-Men are talking about genes and mutations, and when I was growing up, it was pretty controversial, the concept of embryonic stem cells and utilizing them for medical purposes. And now it's now what you can do is we could take some of Digger Jim cells or Gary B cells, and we could de-differentiate them, literally put them back into a less mature state, and then differentiate them again. That means convince them using a set of molecules or reagents to become, say, a neuron cell or an eyeball cell or a fat cell. So
you rewrite the recipe.
Right. So the
make everybody casual.
Right. But the leaps and bounds that we've made, in 20 years, it's just fascinating. And so, and honestly, I owe some of that curiosity to comics, and to say, like, because I wanted to understand, what does a mutation mean?
Right. And the cloning too. Like, I remember when Dolly first came out, when they first, the whole Dolly news story broke, and that was such a big deal.
Right.
Yeah. Silver Knight. I also like Brubaker quite a bit. I enjoy, like
Ed.
Yeah. Ed Brubaker. I really liked his mini, The Books of Doom. Did you guys read that?
Mm-mm.
It was so good, called Books of Doom, and it's basically the story of Doctor Doom and how he came to be the way he is. And I think essentially he tells Reed Richards, like, why I can't stand you, or why I have such like anger towards you, is because you have so much happiness.
And I don't.
Like, you have a family, you have all of these things, and but it's really good. I really liked that one. But
excellent.
Get on it.
Now, is there any book, because we had Pocan Joe on here, and he said the book that bothers him because it continually doesn't it's just too blatantly wrong all the time as far as science and mathematics and stuff go, was The Flash. Is there any book out there that gets it so wrong all the time that you just can't bother with it, or it just bugs you to read it? Or you can't separate yourself into that world?
It's not comics, it's like the CSI shit. All those
shows.
Yes. Yeah. And honestly, the stupid Big Bang Theory, that's not how cool nerds are. Those people are stupid.
Right.
Like,
I love Big Bang, but I took it for
that's
comedy.
what every non-nerd says. Like, it's so good. And I'm just like,
I'm just saying, I liked it for the comedy end of it.
Yeah, it's good.
I mean,
I could never relate. I'm just like, I'm so much cooler than those people.
You know what? It's odd because you're the only other person besides myself who doesn't like the show that I've met.
All right, I gotta go.
Right? I've only seen like 2 episodes, and I'm like,
it just never did anything for me. I'm just like, that's not. That's not
he gave the comics away as a wedding present. I thought that was pretty cool.
So I don't watch it. Like, I've watched all of like 10, 15 minutes of what was it, that Big Bang Theory, and it was just like, I know Blossom's on there, but I still can't. She's Blossom. Yeah. So and the CSIs are just awful. Just watching them go in there and like they're in these labs and like these random tubes filled with like different food colored water.
Right.
Just like, these guys are idiots. But nobody knows if you're not a lay, like,
right. If you're not in a lab, right. Yeah. That's what I tried to tell my wife. I'm like,
they're just making it look nice for TV. Ooh,
exactly. Yeah, I know. Right. And like they'll pop something in something like, the analysis says this, and this, and it's like, bro, it takes 4 days to do that. Like, you can't just like put a little chip under here. Like, it's like a 4-day protocol, just stuff like that. And you're just like,
but that's very comic booky too. Like, when there's like an instant cure when somebody's mutated in a comic and they give them an injection, next thing you know, it's like 30 seconds later and they're back to normal from almost being dead.
So, to be fair, as a kid, when I was reading that, I didn't know any better. But now, like, as an adult, honestly, I just kind of find it like endearing. And I am the biggest Moira McTaggart fangirl. Like, so I feel like Kitty kind of on the inside. I look up to Jean, but I'm probably the most like Moira, realistically. You know what I mean? I've always loved her. She's one of my favorites.
She had Proteus, though. Oof.
Yeah, what a dick. But I mean, Xavier had Legion. They're both terrible children.
Yeah, that's true.
Charles and Moira should have been together. I mean, they were, but they should have always. Whatever. I really liked the Shadow King stuff. Really freaked me out. The Muir Island, like, Shadow King story, and even early appearance, like I want to say it's like issue 119, where it's like tells like the story of early Storm and how she was like a pickpocket in like an African city,
and
in
Cairo or something, right?
Yeah, but the Shadow King was also like sitting in the same like I don't know, little bar or whatever he was in, but is it 117? You're right, it's 117, not 119. Right. You're right. It's 117, but that is a really good issue. I love that issue.
Now, are you long flowing hair Storm or Mohawk Storm?
I like Mohawk Storm, but like I mean, long flowing hair to me is like the Jim Lee Storm. And then like Mohawk Storm is like 80s Claremont Storm.
Claremont Storm, right. I
Mhm.
agree. They just came out with a Storm Gambit book. And that's the like she's a kid now, like something happened. I don't know. Something they explain it and say like, oh, she's reverted back to a child and Gambit's decided to hang out with her. And her very first fight is with the Shadow King.
Yeah. The Muir Island saga, it was scary. I mean, because the Shadow King just like mentally tortures people.
Right.
And sort of that kind of power is the scariest to me.
That's why him and Charles are always dueling it out.
Yeah, Shadow King and Charles. I mean, Charles is the stronger, but Shadow King's gnarly. He's a gnarly booger.
Yeah. Now, you said you also like the old horror books too. Have you been a horror reader your whole life as well?
No.
Or you just kind of dabble in it a little bit here and there?
I dabble. So I started doing that once I got into this community, and other people showed them and talked about them. I'm like, good God, these are beautiful. Right. And, got a couple, read through them, and I was like, wow, some of these are actually, pretty good, and some of them are pretty freaky. And so not as a kid now, because I am not a ghost or a horror person usually. Now it's because I enjoy those stories and it's kind of nostalgic to me. But yeah, I can't like watch movies where it's just like gratuitous violence or like horror with gross snot monsters and stuff. It's just not my jam. But a lot of people in this community did that. They love that. And
but you're a scientist. You got to go work for Umbrella Corporation.
That one right there. This one right here below.
That's right. So,
but see, that's some of the best things about, like, say, like the sword and sorcery books I read, like Conan and some of the monsters. There's people don't realize, and they don't ever put it in the movies. There's a horror element to those that helps make those stories as full and rich as they are.
Yeah, I mean, and especially like. I know I told you, like, I'm a Tolkien person, and there are some gnarly creatures in that world and in that realm. I mean, it's scary, and it's not that I like it. I like that stuff. At the same time, like, there's only so much demon possession and crazy stuff I can take.
Right.
You know what I mean?
There's a limit to it.
Right. But yeah, give me a few orcs, a Balrog. I'm down. I can jam.
But you are a creature feature person, right? Like Kong and Godzilla.
Universal monsters. Yeah. That's good stuff, though. I mean, that's like, it's Americana.
Yeah.
Right?
Now, to that old school.
Are you Godzilla over Kong or Kong over Zilla?
So, only because my little brother was obsessed with Godzilla. Yeah. So I'll go with Gojira.
Gojira, that's right.
Gojira, right?
That's my son he's obsessed with Godzilla.
My little brother was.
We can all recognize Godzilla as the inferior creature to Kong. I have no problem with that.
He doesn't care about comics, but he got really enthralled with that. So they actually have that their own thing too. They have a thing called G Fest in Chicago. It's all Godzilla.
I know about it.
And you got the G-Fan magazine.
And got the G-Fan magazine. So, yeah.
So, I would say that the at first the Lord of the Ring TV show, I mean, it looked like a little rinky-dink at first. But then they showed, I've seen some of these longer trailers that they released at SDCC, and I'm cautiously optimistic. I'm gonna watch it. If it sucks, then I won't anymore. Mm-hmm. But
you'll give it a fair shot, though.
What's that?
You'll give it a fair shot, though.
I'll give it a fair shot, right? I'll watch it, because I want it to be good. I'm gonna go into it wanting it to be good, but like sometimes things just can't be. They just aren't, right?
Right.
But I am such a big fan, and I think that now that they've shown some of the live orc stuff, I was afraid it was just going to be a CGI shit show.
Right.
But some of the set design now actually is looking really good, and it's looking pretty promising. And I'm not, other than that, all I can say is I'm excited, and I'm going to be interested to see where they take it, because there's 9 rings for the humans, there's 7 for the dwarves, there's 3 for the elves, and then there's the 1. And this says rings of power. Well, which rings are they going to focus on? Because I think straight off, 4 of the rings of the dwarves get destroyed by dragon fire, and at what point does this take place? Because it's a long time. Those rings exist from the mid Second Age, right? And when does Lord of the Rings take place? At the end of the Third Age. That's 5,000 years. So, where they're going to start at that in that 5,000 year period, who knows?
Now, were you a Game of Thrones fan or
Oh,
Witcher
no.
fan?
Oh God, it's awful. No. So I'll tell you why. Oh my God. It's so
Carol and I can't watch anything together. That's for
so
sure.
I'm sorry, but I turned on this I turned on Game of Thrones, and it was this woman in a tent, and she shot out a black dragon egg, and I was like, this is some bullshit. Or a black cloud came out of her hoo-ha. I don't know. It was Circe, and she was having a baby dragon, and I was like, this is some bullshit. What the hell is this? I'm not watching this. The dragon lady, but
she's on the worst part.
Well, that it happened because I saw that, and I was like, this is what people are into? No. So I
watched all 7 seasons. I gotta say, there's characters I liked and characters I didn't,
and I think that's with everything. So
the dragon queef, it was so weird. I just did not like it.
Now, what about The Witcher?
The Witcher. I have not watched it. It's based off a video game, right?
It's based off a book. It's a foreign language book. I think it was German?
When was it first written?
That I don't know. You know who knows is Varangian Vigilante Thorson, because he's a big fan of the original books, and he actually hates the show. I actually like the show, but I never read the books. That's probably why I like it.
He probably doesn't like Henry Cavill.
One of my buddies, Unruly, I think Unruly said The Witcher wasn't bad, that he had watched it on I would love Game of Thrones. I don't know. I know George R. Oh, it's just I came in at the wrong time, I think.
Yeah. I think you did too.
I think that was Melisandre she was talking about too.
Yeah, she was.
She was in this tent. She was in a tent, and she had her legs spread, and a black cloud came out. And I'm just
you just came in at the wrong time.
She was a witch, and she was making a
dragon egg,
a shadow creature.
So yeah, you needed to see it when it was what's her name killing everybody, Arya.
Oh my gosh. Arya was my favorite story arc out of that whole series.
For sure, you would have liked
such a little badass story.
Willow. I loved Willow as a kid. I know they're coming back with some kind of Willow thing, right?
Yeah, Willow was great. And you know what else I really liked was Dragon Slayer.
Yeah. Did you watch the cartoon Hobbit and Lord of the Rings, and have you seen the last?
I did see the cartoons, yes. The movies.
Yeah. I mean, you ever heard of the Last Unicorn cartoon?
Yep.
Stuff like that, and there's Flight of the Dragons, and there's a lot of those kind of
Fire
cartoons.
and Ice.
Yeah, that I really loved as a kid. Mm-hmm. So those are ones that I also was big into.
The Wizards.
Yes. Really into that. And I was, I loved Never Ending Story and all that crap.
I'm so glad you said that. So I heard that song, it was stuck in my head, and when I did the story promo for you, I used the Never Ending Story song today on Instagram. Yep.
Never Ending Story.
So if you play the story, that's what your promo is too.
Oh my gosh.
That's awesome.
And you know how old I am, Caroline? I saw the Never Ending Story in the theater with a double feature with Legend.
Legend is so good. Ridley Scott on that, man. Tim Curry as Satan. Friggin' the only time Tom Cruise is good in anything. No, he was so young. That's before he was famous.
Yeah,
he
was like 20. He was like 20 when they made that.
Might have been like, because had he done all the right moves or something at that point? I don't even know if he'd done that yet.
Legend was early. But it's one of, if you guys have not seen Legend, highly suggest it. I'm a big unicorn person, so Legend, Last of the Unicorns, any of that.
Right.
Yeah. I saw those in the movies. I saw them at the theater. Sad.
Don't tell her how old we are. Come on.
It's all right. It's
all right. So we are drawing up, but let's get into a little bit more. So you're talking about how you love the older comics compared to the new comics, and I'll ask this one from my buddy Rob. What character do you think needs a change right now that they're just doing wrong? And what do they need to fix?
Like if Caroline could write or do anything with a new Marvel book.
Right. There's got to be some X-Men character they're screwing up on you that you
right. There's got to be there's like 70 different X-Men titles, right? Pick one that you absolutely think is trash and say, how would you do it better?
I'm not buying any of the modern X-Men stuff, dude.
See, because you know it's trash.
Because hashtag not enough Dazzler.
That's right. That's the reason why. Look, y'all. I haven't bought new X-Men stuff since Hoxpox. And I did it.
I don't buy it either because I knew what they were going to do. I knew they were going to make 1,000 books. They were going to tie them all together, and it was just going to.
It's just a money grab, and they just break your heart because it's not any good.
Right.
I'm just like, if you're an X-Men fan, then you've been heartbroken a lot and burned a lot since the early 90s. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah, at least Spider-Man had that great Nick Spencer run.
What I really love. Sorry, you're just being an asshole now. But I loved the House of M was really good.
Yeah.
Bendis's House of M I enjoyed quite a bit.
Well, it was you that said God Loves Man Kills is a must-read storyline.
It's a must-read, yes. It is a very, very good. Very appropriate to today, I think. Anybody that read it, it could apply to the modern day right now. So he's going to pull his copy.
Nah, I don't know where it is. I thought it was up here, but I think it might still be in one of my other boxes. I was going to pull it, but I don't know where it is. But yeah, I remember when that came out and I read it and I was like, oh boy, this is deep.
Yeah. So what I've been on is I've been so I can't watch the news now just because it's just like, I don't know, if you read comics you're probably sensitive anyways, but like I've gone recently, I've just realized I've been getting stressed out over shit that I can't control, so I'm just like, all right, I'm going to Tolkien's world. And so for the last couple of weeks I've been Tolkien it out, and it's been nice. It's been really fun. I've had a good time.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah.
So there's really no modern book that you'd want to change because you're not really deep into anything now.
I'm not really. No, I'm not invested in modern X-Men. Like, I can't say that I am.
It doesn't have to be X-Men. It could be, I mean, if there was another book that you read and you thought, man, I think I could just do it a little better.
Or something you'd like to see brought back in this age.
Yeah, for that matter, yeah. Like a nice, I mean, gosh, they're bringing everything back, though, Gary.
They are, but there's still some characters that both companies just ignore.
Let's see. I don't know, man.
Yeah, it's a tough one. Not every. I mean, if you're not reading anything new and you're not sure if there's anything out there, that's a tough question.
Like with the Captain Marvel, I was really happy they brought Binary back, and the way they did it, I loved.
I think I could do Thanos pretty well. I couldn't do Thanos better than Starlin or whatever, but like, I read something Jason Aaron did. It was called Thanos Rising.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought it was really good. It was really disturbing because it was basically a case study of you watching someone become a psychopath.
Right.
And it was really well done. And so you see this young Thanos, and you see him starting to kill animals and starting to do things that, you know, kids that are psychopaths that turn into like murderers do.
Right.
And so Jason Aaron writes in the manifestation of like all of these traits of like we need to talk about Kevin, but we need to talk about Thanos. Yeah, no, it's for real. And so it's called Thanos Rising. And I thought that was a very fresh, stunning way to take on comics, just a new way. It really was almost written as if it were a case study of a character.
Yeah. I kind of want to watch. I kind of want to go read it.
It's like 5 or 6 issues, you know, it's quick. So, but
his King Conan 6-issue miniseries that was just out with Mahmoud Asrar was fantastic.
So I loved his God of Thunder. Jason Aaron made me a Thor fan again. Like, I didn't give 2 shits about Thor. Right. I read God of Thunder. You know, I haven't cared about Thor since like Simonson stuff. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, you know, hey, I'm a Jason Aaron. You guys, if you want to read something that is like psychologically unsettling, I really found Thanos Rising to be psychologically unsettling.
Right. And that's something I did not read. I might have to look for that. Now you said that was what, 4 to 6 issues?
Like 5 or 6.
5 or 6.
5 or 6 issues. Yeah, Jason Aaron.
So get the trade.
Right. The new you know, Rom D doing what is it, Detective? It's either Detective or Batman. It's taken over. That's the reason why I'm picking that up, because I just want to see, because he always goes deep into a character, and I think he's going to go. I mean, he's going to go deep into Batman's psyche. I think we're going to see a little, maybe just something different that we haven't seen before. So
yeah.
I don't know.
And did
I'm
you
going to
read
see
the
how it plays
Hulk
out.
Run? Being a big
I did
Hulk
not.
fan?
Yeah, I didn't read it. I'm sure you did. Yeah.
He made it a horror title again. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? He made it. It's some of the best Hulk that's been done since, like, you know, Peter David.
And now we have the Hulk now.
That's
Johnny Cates Hulk.
I gave up after 6 issues. I was like, what in the hell is this guy doing? I mean, I just couldn't get behind it.
And speaking of Peter David too, the Maestro miniseries were great too. The new ones.
And I did like those. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, that guy hasn't skipped a beat.
No.
Oh yeah, the Simone Bianchi art in Thanos Rising is just so good. It's so dark. It's a perfect pairing. Yeah, it's really good. That was just kind of a little sleeper for me. One that was like, hey, this is actually, you know, you read. So I like to buy trades just because, you know, if I'm curious about a story, I'll get the trade first. Like, I'll buy them used off Amazon for a fraction of the price.
Right.
And because I like having something in my hand and going through it. And yeah, I just remember that one being like, whoa. You know, there's few, like, after I read V for Vendetta or Watchmen or something, those were like, whoa. You know what I mean?
Right.
Other level stories.
Yeah.
Right.
Whoa. And Thanos Rising kind of had that feel, because it was kind of like, ooh.
Really? Only 5? It was like 6 issues? And
it wasn't the same. It was more of just like, it's like a we need to talk about Kevin kind of thing.
All right.
It was just really bothersome.
And it's in trade, right?
Yeah,
so I could go. I'm gonna look it up.
Yeah, you should check it out, man.
Because I'm a big fan of that too. If I can get a nice used trade, I don't have to invest a lot, but I get a great story out of it. I feel like I'm getting double my money.
Are you reading the new Fantastic Four? Peter David's writing the new Fantastic Four. It's pretty good. Are you guys on that?
No, I did not. Jump on that.
I can only get so much.
Yeah,
and that was a problem with that.
He has to get at least those 18 Red Sonja Dynamite books. You know, he has to have those. That's just the way it is. Something has to go.
Right. Red Sonja, written by Roy Thomas and then drawn by Frank Thorne, and all was fantastic. Marvel stories. Now it's a shame the way they butcher the character a lot at Dynamite.
Yeah.
like a lot of the people that write her over there don't understand what makes the character a good character.
So
yeah, well, Dynamite's got some folks there, special folks.
Now we'll start. We've been going for an hour and 50 minutes, so we're going to start wrapping this up. And I guess my last question for you, Caroline, then Jim, I'll throw it to you for one last question. Give the audience that's watching and those who are going to catch us on the rewind one classic story that they should invest in and read. Just go out and buy the trade, spend your $20 and read a storyline. Something that you think would have universal appeal.
Man, something that would have universal appeal. Okay, honestly, then God Loves Man Kills. Go buy the story God Loves Man Kills. To me, Chris Claremont is a hell of a storyteller. He uses my favorite team, which is the X-Men, and he shows us that when people try to create division based on minutia or based on perceived social mores, that it can cause a lot of unnecessary pain and strife, and that people can get hurt over frivolous things like petty differences. It could be in skin color. It could be whether or not you're a mutant. You know, it's just kind of that thing. And God Loves Man Kills, I think it's just a timeless tale that would speak to anybody. And it's, yeah, I would suggest that to anyone out there.
Nice. Great selection. Jim, do you have a last question, sir?
Is there a Grail book that you do not have that you're trying to obtain this year? Or several? I mean, everybody usually has one or two in the back of their head. They're like, man, this is what I'm going for this year.
So I would really, man, it would be hard, but I would really like to find an FF52. I love Black Panther. I have his second appearance. FF52, and then, oh man, like if I could just pick out and dot, like I'll never get a GSX.
Right.
The next best thing is either like an X-Men 100.
Yeah.
I like X-Men 100. I have a 94, you know, but yeah, maybe FF52. It just there's a lot.
Right. No, that's what I say for this year. See, like I think you have to prioritize, like every year you pick out maybe 3 and you try to hit those as your goal throughout the year, or 4 at best. Don't go crazy. Just pick 4 and say these are my targets.
Yeah.
These are for this year. This is what I'm going to try to get. For me, that's the best way to go financially and just keeping sound mind.
Also, man, I really want. I had one, but then I was an idiot, I think, and I sold it. But I want to get an FF112 again. The thing in the Hulk.
Right.
But anyways, wish in one hand. It'll all happen. Right. So.
Right. Nice. So, Jim, what's coming up on your channel, sir?
If it ever gets here, I'm going to be doing an unboxing. I bought Flo Dameron's mystery box, and I have a win that I got from Brian that I'm just going to couple them together. I'm also working on putting together this book, Delta Dogs. It is an independent that I got hooked on because of that damn Pocan Joe. And yeah, well, Austin LeMay did issue 11. Pocan Joe and him did issue 11, and I really, I couldn't not do it. So I went and bought the whole first run for a little bit, and I wanna try to spotlight it, maybe even get the author on to interview Bonnell. So that's what's coming up.
Let's talk, Silver. We can talk. We'll talk. We'll see. I may have some things that you're interested in. I may not. But yeah, Bearded, here's your duck comment. So for some reason, I don't know, I got nailed because we were on the drawing Rod. Do you know who Rod the Rican is?
Yeah.
And we were on the drawing show, and he just kept hitting us with ducks. And I'm like, not another duck. I don't want to have to draw another duck. And now everybody gives me problems about ducks. And so I've started collecting duck covers. And that's why I have this duck cover.
You need Hoarder's Hide, man. He's got like 50,000 Donald Duck books.
Yeah. Since I've been getting so much flack about ducks, I'm just going to collect them now.
Just decide to embrace it, right?
That's right. I'm just gonna own it.
Now, what's coming up on your channel, Caroline?
So this Saturday I'm gonna be on a couple of auctions. Crazy. I don't know why I did that, but I'm gonna do Southern Comic Geek and Strictly Comics. And then I usually on Fridays or Saturdays, but I usually I haven't with Rob in a minute, but we usually like to hang out and just like show our books. Like, hey, we'll just pick out a different chunk because you feel like you got to get your books into the light every once in a while. There's certain little bits of them. Like, Mommy still loves you. Mommy hasn't forgotten about you. You matter too.
Rob has quite a collection too.
Oh man, Rob's got an epic collection. You need to get Rob on here too, man.
That's who you need to get. Because I didn't know him until I tumbled upon yours. I was like, oh wow, look at these two. Rob's sick. He's like, I picked up this stack of Avengers 1 through 100. I just thought I'd show him tonight. I was like, what?
Yeah. Rob, his collection room is called the Hall of Justice, dude.
Yeah, he has it set up. It's pretty dope.
Oh man, it's dope.
And it's Rob who?
Rob Worst.
Okay.
Rob Worst, Not Near Mint, is his name. Not Near Mint.
Oh, okay. That I know.
Yeah. So, you got to get him on here, and he'll blow you away with the bangers. I appreciate you guys having me on. I'm glad I got to sit here and just chew the fat about.
Oh no, it was awesome.
All things nerds.
Absolutely.
Yeah, right. It's always a good time. This is all. It's just a hangout, right?
Yeah.
No expectations. You just come on. You be yourself. You have a good time. You nerd out. You talk books. Guys, coming up on my channel, this Saturday, we have Natalie, the DC Comic Queen, on the 10/11. Then on the 9th, we have Taylor Winder on the 10/11. And on the 11th, we have Lorenzo from Alternative City Comics on In the Hot Seat with the Usual Suspects. And then Chi Comic Girl on the 13th, on a Saturday, on the 10/11. A lot of good guests coming on. A lot of new faces on the channel. Super excited to meet people. It's been an absolute pleasure getting to know Caroline over the last week.
Ditto.
And just been a real fun time. I want to thank everyone that came out in the audience tonight. We had a great chat. Very active chat. We had a lot of fun. Guys, Jim's information is in the description below. Caroline's information is in the description below. If you are not subbed to either one of them, please go sub them up now and check out their stuff. Obviously, they're great people. I wouldn't have them on the channel if they weren't. A lot of fun and just help support the community. And until next time, keep it casual. Bye. Attention all, use channel sponsor Rogue Trader at theroguetraderutah.com and my code Keep It Casual for 10% off your comic cleaning and pressing needs. Remember, when submitting your books to be graded, use a trusted professional.